Hey, so Mark, given everything that you're doing right now, where do you really see the value add for LINQ is inside your customer base?
Yeah, so I think the first thing that you notice is that it's definitely quicker to model your processes in LINQ than using other tools. But to me, that's not really the big value add. The big value add is in those deep insights that automatically get created as a result of you basically creating the model. So what customers really like is how you can look at those insights from 4 different perspectives, or as I like to say, through 4 different complementary lenses. So with LINQ, as well as the obvious sort of process lens, if you like, you can look at those insights through the systems lens, through the people lens, and crucially through the information lens. So with systems, you get answers to questions like what systems, obviously understanding what systems do we currently use, which are working well, which can we use better, and which do we need to replace. And then with people, similarly, which teams are involved, how much of their time is being consumed, how can we make them more productive, and really importantly, what impact will this change that we're considering have on the roles and the skills that we need within the organization. And then in terms of that information lens, so first off, it basically tells you what information and data assets are you creating, which amazingly is something that a lot of organizations have got no register of, no idea. How can we better manage those assets? Because essentially that's how they need to think of them. They need to think of them as being highly valuable assets that are just as valuable as plant and machinery, for example. And most importantly, how can we better monetize or get more value out of those assets? And I mean, personally, I'm not aware of any solution that can provide those insights without a huge amount of heavy lifting, pulling all that information together.
Yeah, it's something I'm hugely passionate about is your comment about managing information as an asset. I think I'm a good friend of Doug Laney, who wrote the book Infonomics, and I know you've read that. Doug put a slide up some years ago at a summit saying he was talking to an organization and they were saying, oh no, we do asset management for the important things. And he went to the bathroom and the urinals had asset numbers on. But their information asset, there was no formal definition of them as an asset. And he said, isn't that really interesting what our perception of value is? You've got this content which is really helping your business function. It's the lifeblood. And if you took all of the data and information out of a business, I argue there isn't an organization left. There's just people sat around with some technology kind of waiting to do something because they don't know what to do and they can't produce anything. And yet the urinals have got an asset number connected to the asset management system. They'll have a maintenance schedule. Someone will come and check them every day. And you go, well, hang on, that's the behaviors you should be applying to your information asset as well. So
totally. To me, it's you just look at enterprise value these days, and the reason you don't find the majority of enterprise value on the balance sheet is because it's not tied up in tangible assets. It's in intangible assets. It's in information, data, knowledge, those other systems which have historically sort of been considered somewhat sort of incidental and almost the information is almost a byproduct of doing the work and the process. But what LINQ does is it obliges you to essentially say for every action, for every piece of activity, what's the output, and the output has to be defined in terms of information, because how else are you going to define it? So that's to me, that's a classic example of how the LINQ language drives better behaviour, because otherwise, if you're using another process modelling tool, you're essentially just linking a bunch of activities and workflows together. And at no point do you actually say, well, this work that I'm doing here and this step in the process, what's the point of it? What's the value creation? And the value has to be defined in terms of the information asset that's being generated as a result of doing that work, and then that asset is then used further upstream, further downstream on that process by somebody else who picks it up and says, "Thank you very much for creating this piece of information. Now that's what I need to do my role in this process." So it's totally obvious once you get it. But it can take a few hours with a customer who's sort of stuck in their ways and they've learned some very bad habits, to get them to sort of appreciate the value of information and data and all that intangible stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think maybe we try and find a silver lining to COVID, maybe this is one of these events which will actually help organizations understand this is something that they do have access to. And if they do just think slightly differently, they can, use that knowledge to thrive through this situation, as opposed to just, lying back. So, hey, anyway, I've taken up enough of your time. Thank you so much for joining today.
Thanks, Neil.
Yeah, stay safe as we come out of level 4. And when we're level 2 and there are some Air New Zealand flights between Auckland and Wellington, maybe we can catch up and have a good chat over a flat white somewhere instead.
Sounds good. Awesome. I think a cold beer sounds even better.
Absolutely, certainly does. All right, mate. Lovely. Thanks for taking the time, Mark. Appreciate it. And we'll catch up again soon. All right.
All right. Bye.
See you.